Hey guys, Brad from Blue Nile Farm. You know, if you're a truck driver or a farmer and you deal with ag lime and you do apply it yourself, this video is for you. Because if you've ever worked with ag lime, you know how sticky it is, and once it hardens up, it's like concrete. It never comes out of your equipment. And secondly, the other thing with ag lime is that if it stays in your equipment, it can actually turn your equipment into a bucket of rust over time. So the best way of maintaining your equipment is to get this lime out, get it clean, and do it as effectively and efficiently as possible. So if that's your goal, stay tuned. We're going to cover how to clean lime out of both your dump truck and possibly your lime spreaders. But today we're specifically going to target the dump truck. So stay tuned. So this makes just a single axle. It's nothing extra special. But again, you can see the lime, it's been sitting there for a week. I got injured and I wasn't able to get out here quick enough to wash it. And you can actually see kind of that rust colored coloring that's in the bed. I kind of not a fan of that. But this lime dries like concrete and you really don't want it. And if you worked with stone and stuff, it probably work itself out. But the best thing you should do, regardless, is to wash this thing out after you're done using it, especially hauling ag lime. So it's on the tailgate, it's on the bed. Down here you can see it's already done on the hitches. So we're going to get all this stuff cleaned out the best we can. I'm going to get up here and spray it, and I'll kind of show you the process that we do. And first and next I'll show you the sprayers that we're going to use. So the equipment I'm choosing today is my Pressure Pro. It's a Pressure Pro Eagle 2. It's 4 gallon per minute, 4,000 psi, belt driven pressure washer, ran by a Honda 13 horsepower engine, and it really does a nice job. We're going to have a turbo nozzle on it. It's going to put out a lot of good gallon per minute quantity to help flush this off, to do it quicker and faster. And then I got a hose reel set up here, and we're going to get to this and see how it works. So this is step one of our process. We're going to blast it off as best we can, and then we'll come back and we'll chemically remove some of that lime. All right, so we use the turbo nozzle, and you got to be careful because turbo nozzle will take off paint. We have some white residue on the sides that I have to get off, and we have some remnants in the bucket. And for a lot of guys, you might say, ah, that's good enough. But, you know, this stuff here will eat up, no matter what, on your steel. So the best practice is to get it all off. So next thing we're going to do is chemically remove it. All right, the two chemicals we're going to use, Simple Green, and we're going to compare it to CLR lime remover. Both of them are made to attack lime, but I'm thinking the Simple Green is more for the household chemical, where the CLR is going to be more for this application. So we're going to kind of compare the two and see where it goes, because the cost is relatively close as far as the products go. This is only like $17, $18 a bottle. This is like $28, $29 a bottle. So a little bit more, but I think it's going to do more. And again, it's advertised to attack the problem where this stuff really isn't. So let's go take a look and we'll see how it all works out, just to give you an idea of which product might work best for you when we deal with this type of situation. There's a couple of things I want to cover real quick, guys, as far as putting down the CLR lime remover that's made for vehicles. I suggest you run somewhere like Harbor Freight. I want to pick in this little 1 1/4 gallon sprayer for like $9.99. Normally retails for 15 bucks. This is a sprayer itself. and it has a pretty simple little nozzle to it. Do yourself a favor, take about a gallon of this, half gallon, pour it into the sprayer. That's what I basically used. And then when you're done with it, pour it back in the container if you're not using it. If you deal with, like say, your glass on your truck, your mirrors and stuff, you know, I wound up getting, again, the cheapy little spray bottles. Wind up putting the CLR in here, and I wound up shooting the glass after we wet it down with some soap. Shot the CLR on it, and then took a rag, basically, a soft towel like this, and basically, these are one of those micro towels, and wind up cleaning out all that little spots of your lime residue. Worked out really good. So again, Simple Green is not efficient enough for dealing with ag lime. CLR lime remover is by far the best product for you to use, and I'm really pretty happy with it. And again, you know, lime goes everywhere, and this is just some suggestions I have. Now the other thing too is do not mix, you know, different components together. You know, if you're done using this and you're going to use it for a different application, make sure you clean it out really good. I'm going to wind up using one of these little sprayers to distribute my diesel and oil mixture, which I'm not going to show in this video at all. But once you get your bed cleaned out and dried off, you can basically take a mixture of maybe 80% diesel to 20% oil, or maybe you might want to do a 50-50. It's up to you how you want to do the mix, and basically shoot it all over your bed if you choose to. Some guys won't even do anything. So it's up to you, but I'm just giving you a suggestion. You know, these little spray bottles are cheap, they're efficient, and they'll do the job that you need to do. And that's really all I want to kind of go over before we get into the whole process. But definitely, when you see me in the video, this is what I'm actually using and applying, is using one of these little sprayers. And get them cheap, because, you know, when you're done using them, is probably best practice to get the chemical out and then store it for the future. Another thing I want to mention too is if you don't want to use a diesel oil mix, you can use fluid film or some other kind of undercoating if you choose to put it on your bed of your truck. Now if you're using a lime spreader, I suggest you put something down for sure, and that's where the diesel oil is probably your cheapest. You know, if you want to do fluid film, that'll work good. You know, there's a lot of different chemicals out there that may work for you, but I would probably, if it was me, I would probably go with the diesel oil mix just because it's cheap and it's readily on hand for me, and probably for most of you guys as well. And it'll last a while, and it's easy to put together. But just like anything else, you know, if these types of containers are not made for, you know, keeping those things in for long term, so make sure you empty them out before you use them. And again, you know, it always comes down to cost. And I like fluid film, but, you know, as far as an undercoat goes, you know, the diesel oil is probably going to be your easiest one to obtain and the easiest one to apply. So here's the bed of the truck. You can see the lime still stuck on the sidewalls, and we're going to try to get all that removed and also on the floor. And again, like I said, I don't haul stone. If I did, it probably would have maybe worked itself out. But bottom line is, I don't want any lime on my truck. I'm pretty much done for the season, you know, and I want to get it off. So we're going to basically take sections of this bed, and we're going to apply, we're going to wet it down. Then we're going to try Simple Green, and we're going to try CLR. We'll see how it works. And we'll see which one works better. And then after we apply it, we're going to let it dwell for a few minutes. It can't dry, and it's pretty cold out. It's like 45 degrees out here in northeastern Ohio, and I want to get this done so I can put this truck away for the year. So we're supposed to get snow tomorrow, so it's a do or die situation. All right, so what I did is I wound up spraying this side over here with the Simple Green, and you really don't see much, anything really happening. On this side, you can see I wound up putting some of the CLR, and you can actually see it kind of streaking itself. So I think the CLR itself, and I did the whole floor here with the CLR, it's starting to actually work and break down some of that lime. So what we're going to do is let it sit for a few minutes because it's cool. It's not going to dry real fast. Let it activate, and then we'll spray it down. But you can actually see kind of like running a little bit, and it's starting to work, and I think that's the good thing. So again, we're going to let it go for a little bit, come back and maybe say 3 to 5 minutes, spray it once real quick and see if it's starting to break it off. And if the Simple Green doesn't take this off, at full strength, then we will just put CLR on it and see how that works. Alright guys, so we're going to do the simple green. See how this comes off. This is a 25-inch. This is with a 25 degree, and it really didn't do much with that. Let's try the front here, and this is going to be the CLR. Alright, that's with a 25 degree nozzle. I'm going to switch over to the 15 degree nozzle, because I want to see if we can really blast it off, and then see. But definitely CLR seems like it's taking off more. I see stuff moving a lot better than I did with the simple green. So again, this is 15 degrees. So as you can see, I mean, we went through this. I think the bottom is a lot nicer. Sides somewhat. I think it did a little bit better job with the CLR. I'm going to put CLR on another coat of this. We'll see how it goes. But definitely you can see it starting to foam and milk. Okay? Yeah. I'm going to do this. You can see that CLR just quickly working on the chemicals, starting to drain down and react to our lime. Whereas we didn't see that with the simple green. We're just soaking it and let it drain down. It was immediately neutralizing the lime. I'm not pouring it on, this is just coming out at the sprayer nozzle, and it's just coming off a little mist stream. But we're definitely getting coating, and I can see it coat. So we're going to hit it twice, see how this reacts. We'll let it dwell and sit for a while so it works. So now that that's on, we're going to let it sit, like I said, and let it kind of work itself out. And then the pressure washer, obviously I'm using at 15 degrees. That's not hurting getting the pressure off, but the problem was earlier is last week we did the same thing, and I just needed a little bit extra oomph, and I think the chemical makes the difference. So here's our side we just did that we started off with, and we really took off a lot. This is with a 15 degree nozzle. I'm going to switch over to turbo nozzle, see how that goes. But I'm pretty much good. Got as much done as I could technically out of this, and I really can't complain because we really took off a lot of lime, and it was caked on. So here we go. We're going to try a turbo nozzle and see how that goes, and I'll give you a shot after we're done. So here's a shot of the bed now, totally cleaned out. Did a pretty good job, 99% complete. And I think I'm going to stop here. And our next thing is to just basically wash the entire truck. And I'm going to shoot oil diesel in the bed of this so it can, once it dries out, to protect it for the winter. And that's it. The truck's going to be parked and it's put away till it's pretty much spring, unless I get a side job and I decide to pull it out. But other than that, and at least the lime is out and I can sleep good at night knowing that we finally got this accomplished. So with a lot of turmoil and problems that occurred to get to this point, I'm pretty happy with it. So if anybody has any other better ways of doing this or ideas or chemicals to use, let me know. I'll be more than happy to try them out. But this has been, truck's been used. It's been sitting for a while. It's been sitting outside, and the problem is it's rained on it. It's dried out a couple times, and it makes it tough to get clean. So, we did the best we could, and I'm pretty happy with it using the right tools. Hey guys, thanks for watching that video on how to get egg lime out of your dump truck. And again, this could still apply to other pieces of equipment you have, like your spreader. But we'll deal with the spreader in the near future here because I still have to clean that. So I'll make a video regarding that specifically. But if you're a truck driver, if you really don't want the lime in there, this is the way you should deal with it. Make sure that I've learned is it's better to have about a 4 gallon per minute uh, pressure washer because it has a lot more gallons to flush that off. This stuff really sticks, and you may be able to blow a lot of it out with the 15-degree nozzle or even a turbo nozzle. It will definitely do the job for you, but you have to look at chemicals too. And CLR lime for vehicles really did a pretty decent job. There's probably some other stuff on the market that may be a little bit more aggressive, but this stuff is not hazardous, so you don't have to really worry about, PP type of equipment, worrying about special gloves and suits and goggles and stuff. Even though that's good and protective to have, this is not a super hazardous type of chemical that you need to deal with. And that's one of the positives of it. And you can get it at a reasonable price, about $26 to $28 a gallon. But definitely the combination of a good pressure washer, good nozzles, and that chemical would really help you take it off. Now, in fairness, it's been about almost 2 to 3 weeks before I got this out of my truck because we've had all kinds of problems with breakdowns with pressure washers, trying to get the right chemicals, timing because they work a full-time job. Just trying to get all this done in our weather has all been kind of like mixing things up, and it's just taking a long time. So the best practices, in my opinion, is to get this thing done. And say I haul lime today and I'm done with it, I should immediately wash that truck out and be done with it. Don't wait, because once it sets up and it dries, it's no good. And the other problem is you can't even do a partial wash. You either wash it completely or don't wash it at all, as far as I'm concerned. Because if you do a partial wash and it hardens back up, it's going to harden up like concrete and you're going to be stuck trying to get it off. And the chemical really makes the difference as far as breaking it down. And, I had to apply the chemical 2 times, but for the most part, we have most of it done. So where am I at now? Well, now that I have the chemical out, I'm letting the truck dry out. So what we're going to wind up doing is taking a diesel oil mix, probably maybe a 50-50 or maybe a 75-25, something like that. 75% diesel, 25% oil. I'm just going to coat the bed of this truck, let it sit, just because it's protective, and be done with it. Now, the one thing that I've also learned is that if you in the future, if you ever deal with egg lime and you are hauling it with your truck, it's probably in your best interest to apply a diesel oil mix on your bed before you actually haul lime, because what it will do is it won't allow it to stick as quick on your bed, and it'll be easier for you to dump it, and it's not going to really hurt the fields that you're doing. But again, when you're done, wash this thing out, clean it out really good immediately. Don't wait, because it'll do nothing but harden on you, and you're going to be in the same miserable times that I had a little bit doing this. But it took a long time. It was time consuming, and it's just something you have to deal with. Or, if you're a very busy truck driver and say you're hauling lots of stone and stuff, that'll help you tear this off too. But, ideally, in my opinion, the best thing you can do is clean it off completely and be done with it, and then you don't have to worry about it. It's not going to eat up your equipment. The other thing too you have to be aware of too is when you do wash your bed, if you say your dump truck or even a semi, that little lime splatter goes everywhere, and it's going to splatter all over your truck, all over your sides, all over your frame, all over your windshield. I mean, it goes everywhere. So you're going to have to clean your entire truck when you're done with this too. So that's why even just using like the simple green with lime, I wound up using a foam cannon and I blew my whole truck over. And we tried to wash it off the best we can, but you're still going to have to go around and get rid of those little specks. It's very irritating, and again, it's just more time and more frustration. But if you take care of your equipment, it's going to last a long time, and that's really what this video is about: is how to take care of your equipment. Don't take it for granted. Lime is caustic; it is going to rust your stuff out, so you definitely want to do the best you can to keep it clean. That's my takeaway from this. I just want to pass it on to you guys. And if anybody has a better idea or better way of doing this, please let me know, because I'm learning and trying to come up with the best and easiest solution possible. And this truly becomes to be a burden, because it is probably the labor of cleaning your equipment when you're done. It's very time consuming, and there's no doubt about it. But I'll tell you what, if I didn't have a 4 gallon per minute pressure washer, it would have taken me a lot longer, because my little 2.5 gallon pressure washer that I started off with didn't have enough power or gallons per minute that really worked and knocked off the lime. It would get the job done, but it's going to take 2 to 3 times longer. Having a 4 gallon per minute pressure washer, I mean, a huge difference, and it's definitely worth the investment. So if you ever deal with ag lime, think about that first before you even start spraying it, because it's very, very important that you don't have to deal with something that's an ineffective piece of equipment. And for a good 4 gallon per minute pressure wash, you're going to be $1,500 and up. I spent over 2,000 on mine with all the attachments and stuff, and it's money well spent, because I have so many pieces of equipment I can use it on. I'm kind of excited because now I can take care of my equipment a lot better. So take it as a positive, not a negative, but you got to deal with this ag lime. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video on how to clean out a dump truck with ag lime. Hopefully it was helpful. I had to give you my take on it, because there's a lot of things that were taking place here, and I kind of wanted to show you the reality of what it takes to really do a real thorough job. And I think that makes a big difference. So again, if you want to take care of equipment, please follow my steps. Hopefully it'll help you out. And if you get any better ideas or thoughts on the matter, please drop a line, because I'll be more than happy to listen. I really want to take care of my equipment, and this, I think, is the best way to do it. And I think the quicker you deal with it, the better off you'll be. But unfortunately, anytime you deal with ag lime, it's a messy, messy job, and you got to clean up afterwards. So with that said, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.